Well, we're just so excited to have you on the podcast. Just to have the Fridge's wife on the podcast is a monumentous day for us.
Well, not just the Fridge's wife, Chloe Madeley, best-selling author 3 times over.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
A powerful, beautiful woman on the podcast. Just what this podcast needs.
I agree.
Well, I don't know. You guys you're doing pretty good, guys. I mean, I have to say the podcasts that you do with James are my favorite ones that he does, and he has a fair few.
Wow. Yeah.
Chloe.
Well, yeah.
Firstly, I want to say congratulations.
It's just natural chemistry between me and the Fridge. We are sort of best friends now. He's overtaken Bendy as my best friend.
Yeah, apparently you guys have been talking about whether or not he's going to be your best man. Is that the chat?
Yeah. Well, last season, Chloe, I was trying to look for the one. I guess, when people talk to me about you, I always say you're the one that got away. And I couldn't be more happy that you've married the Fridge. But, if that never happened, then I imagine me and you would be living in Clapham in a 4-bed house.
Yeah, we had a good go at it, but it just wasn't our time.
Yeah.
Timing was wrong. But James James has been really grown up about the whole thing. So that's good.
I know. And that's why we're really good mates. And that's why he says I've sort of taken over from Dozza.
Yeah, I think you have actually.
Yeah.
Dozza's long gone. Dozza made the big mistake of having kids, and then the Fridge just couldn't really get down with that chat anymore. So now it's you. I
think he just really respects that, I'm also a businessman. I'm also an influencer, and I'm also, I'm in shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair, I think you had a big hand in how he ended up doing what he ended up doing.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm behind that. I haven't read the book yet, but I'm probably in like the sort of 10th or 11th chapter so I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got a paragraph in the acknowledgements.
Yeah.
Chloe, firstly, congratulations on your new podcast, by the way, Couples Quarantine. We're loving it down here in Clapham. Having spent 3 months together locked up during lockdown with the Fridge, was it hard being locked up 24 hours a day, with such a beautiful yet sort of aggravating specimen at times? What was your experience like? Did you guys row a lot? I mean, can you give us an insight?
Yeah, it was the thing. Actually, James and I are genuinely, we say it on the podcast and it's true, like we're quite a volatile couple. When we fight big, but we actually only had like one big fight throughout the whole of lockdown. I don't even know how long it was in the end. How many weeks were we all under house arrest for?
Well, I mean, I've been working the whole way through it, so I haven't really sort of acknowledged the lockdown. I've been going into the office the whole way through, sort of pumping the economy. When you work in the city, it needs must. But I think we're in lockdown for about 10 weeks.
I'd say longer than that. I'd say at least 16.
16, okay.
Yeah, I feel like it might have been longer than that too. It was amazing actually for us. We had one blowout row, and I think we were really just on our best behavior. But we actually did all right. Although, I'm quite jealous though that you guys were working through it. I mean, I presume business is good for you.
Yeah, I mean Q2 wasn't great. I've got to be honest, but Q3 has been lovely, and I'm sad to see it go. I'm sad to see it go, but Q4 is looking. Q4 is probably my favorite quarter. Just because,
is that where you really get the most?
Yeah, it's
the most bang for your business buck.
Yeah, a combination of hard work and client smoozing, and December for me, I call it silly season, just because there's a lot of lash, there's a lot of lunches, and it's just a lot of good times. Regardless if lockdown is still going and I have to go to bed at 10 o'clock, those client lunches will start at 10 a.m.
You just find your way to the Ned. It sounds like that's where you need to be. Yeah,
I mean, have you been to the Ned?
I have, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great. There's just so many good people there. It's a bit like, I'd say, the business equivalent of Soho Farmhouse. Just a lot of good people, a lot of good contacts, and just a lot of good fun to be had.
It's the creme de la creme of London, and I certainly feel like I'm in great fellow company when I'm there.
It would be my dream. Maybe we should organise this. December comes round, me, you, and the Fridge, and I'll try and get one of the hockey girls to come with me, and we have a double date, and it'd be great.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do that. Maybe we should try and set up shop and do a sneaky little podcast from the Ned.
Oh no, that would be so money. That would be so money.
It
Chloe,
would be money.
you were just alluding to that one big blowout, but how do you guys go about when you're locked in together? How do you guys go about rectifying big sort of blowouts, big fallouts? Is it a cheat day, take out pizza, and then some misbehaving in the boudoir? I mean, how do you rectify such a thing?
In the boudoir. James generally needs space, which is not helpful because I generally need kind of a cuddle. So it doesn't ever really end well. We always usually will go to sleep on an argument, but I know how to win him back over in the morning. If I just make him like a big fry up, we're all good. And as soon as he starts eating food and drinking his coffee, it's like the fight never happened and we're back into it again. So I learned my partner, which I feel like is a big achievement.
You'd be my dream woman. You'd be my dream woman.
You guys openly talk about your sex life in the podcast. You've said that you're an incredibly sexual person.
Freddie, just quickly, how much have you heard of the quarantine, couples quarantine? Because they had one of our guests on there. They had the lady from Killing Kittens.
They did, Miss Emma Sale.
She really enjoyed being on our podcast, I think.
She did. And in many ways, we opened the door to get her onto theirs. I think we've done a good word. They hadn't heard of Haskell or Chloe, but they'd heard of us, weirdly.
Oh, are you the reason why Emma came on? Thank you, guys. Honestly, we really appreciate it.
I think fantastic. Emma really enjoyed talking to me. I think she really, I asked her if I could be the first male member of Killing Kittens, and she said she'd come back to me. She hasn't yet, but I'm confident I will become the first male member.
I'm confident that could happen. Maybe she's trying to keep you all to herself, though. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah.
I get that vibe.
Chloe, you did say that you're an incredibly sexual person. So what was the record during lockdown for a 24-hour period, firstly? And why is it that Hass prefers making love in the afternoon?
Lockdown, we didn't have a lot of loving. James decided, like pretty much the first week of lockdown, that he didn't ever want to have sex unless it was in the middle of the afternoon, because he's not, as he says, I'm not a nighttime operator, I'm an afternoon operator. So that kind of put the smack down on our sex life for the whole of lockdown, because I was like, I'm not stopping at 2 o'clock work, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just for you to get your jolly. So no, and I went on strike and it worked.
Well, that's actually me and the fridge are quite similar that way. If I'm having quite a stressful day in the city, I'm at my desk, after lunch, I'm normally feeling sort of very sort of pent up, and I'll just go to the loos in our office and just relieve myself. And I just find that then the afternoon, I'm much more productive.
Yeah, well, it is a form of stress release. So, do it. Go for it. If you've got to do it, you've got to do it. Just make sure you do it behind closed doors, yeah? Yeah.
What I'd like to do is I go to the loo, I take off my suit, I sort of strip down naked. I get some DeepHeat. That just adds to the sort of the event, and I just go hard and fast for a good solid minute. And then by that time, I'm physically in pain, but I'm also emotionally drained. And then I put my suit back on, I'm back at my desk, and I can go and make 50 calls.
It sounds more like self-harm than self-pleasure.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but that probably goes back to sort of my childhood. I don't go into too much detail, but anyone else who's having stress at work, I highly recommend having a wank with DeepHeat.
Yeah. Did you discover that via kind of rugby rehabbing, that DeepHeat feel?
No, it was actually boarding school. There was a guy called Harry Onslow in the year 2 years above me when I was in third form, and that was his sort of, I suppose, punishment. He used to make us put DeepHeat on and relieve ourselves in front of him for his pleasure.
Solid boarding school bants, eh?
Yeah, it was actually. I saw him a couple of years ago at an Old Boys Drinks, and actually he did say to me it was just really good banter, and I had to agree with him.
It sounds fucking hilarious, to be honest.
I highly recommend it if you're looking to sort of try something new in the bedroom. Highly recommend DeepHeat.
Chloe, I can imagine that you've dated and slept with mere mortals before meeting Haskell. So what's it like making love to a Herculean fridge?
Okay, well, false advertising. He's a broken man. He can't do quite a lot in terms of maneuvering himself, because I think pretty much every joint on his whole body is ruined from rugby, but he does look good. And I think the reason why I haven't come back to you, Archie, is probably because, you know, he looked really good naked. That's really it.
I mean, Chloe, I mean, I don't know when the last time you saw me naked, but I mean, I still look great. My body fat is gone down remarkably. Actually, I've got to say my calves are looking really good. But
Wow.
I have to say, a lot of the girls do give me sort of similar reviews. I'm a man of missionary. That's how I like to jump on top, and just they sort of call me the vibrator at school. I don't know how many podcasts, you know. I like to get on top, and I just sort of I shiver.
Yeah.
Sort of 5 minutes.
Good technique.
And a lot of girls say they get a lot of pleasure. I don't hold my body weight. I sort of lie on top and I just shiver and wriggle around, and that sort of it stimulates their whole body. It's quite intense.
And they enjoy it, do they?
Yeah. I think a lot of them have said the word they use. They normally say is this. That was really interesting, and I go, I get that a lot.
Chloe,
yeah, I can imagine.
If you had to choose one thing, which you could stick with for the rest of your life, sex or working out, what would it be?
Definitely the former, because it's like you get like both.
Yeah, kill
for
two
me it
birds with
is
one
because
stone.
I married an old man, so it's like,
well, talking about marrying an old man, when are we going to hear the pitter-patter of young blonde kids in the Haskell Madeley household?
oh god, I mean, I don't want it enough to really push him on it, but every time I bring it up, it's like food for thought. He's like, I'd rather get a dog, I'd rather get a Lamborghini. Like, I'd rather start my own business again. Like, he's just not interested at all in having kids, and I'm not pushing him because, to be honest, I'm still kind of on the fence with the whole thing. I mean, what do you guys think about having kids?
You know, I've got, you know, my dad had me when he was 53, so I've got quite a lot of time, and I imagine the girl I end up with will probably be 20 years younger than me. So she's currently she'll be 13 as we speak.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I want kids because I feel that probably didn't fulfill my rugby ambition, and I want to produce a spawn that will go on to play England rugby. But yeah, I'm not too sure. You know, like I love spending my money. So you know, to give my money away to someone else, you know, I'm not even ready for a girlfriend. You know, to be honest, I like you know the high life. I like, you know, having delivery.
What are you spending your money on? Yeah, where does your money go?
A lot of it I invest in. I've invested in a number of built-on companies recently, which I'm hoping will be quite successful. A nice clothes, you know, Chloe. I like a tight shirt, a deep V-neck. I love my jeans, my shoes.
Both on Blake.
Shoes.
Yeah, both and Blake are one of our key sponsors. I spend a lot on their stuff.
Right.
And holidays, you know, golf clubs, holidays, watches, you name it. That's what I spend my money on.
No, strippers, cocaine, or we're just
not
that kind of Ned.
I don't do drugs because, like, you know, semi-pro rugby player, it's not the right thing. I've got some guys I work with who enjoy that, but then again, look, I've got DeepHeat and wanking, so that gives me all the highs I need.
Chloe, you get to speak to a lot of celebrity couples on your podcast. What's been the most consistent and also surprising story which seems to show up in every couple's sex life?
In every couple's sex life, there's always one person who is like who has a higher libido than the other, and it always causes a little bit of tension between the two. But I think that's fairly normal. I think especially when it's a woman, I think women we're just kind of brought up to think that men want to have sex all the time, and that, you know, they have to pester us for it. So actually, I think if you're the woman in a relationship who has the higher libido, it can actually be like quite confusing and upsetting at first. Mm-hmm. So we're trying really hard to dispel that myth that women don't want to have sex and men do.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got to be honest, when I go to Infernos, I sometimes do think that a lot of the girls I meet don't want to have sex, which is quite surprising. Because, you know, I offer them to come back and you know, come back and watch Netflix and relax and you know, in Casa del Cousin, and they say no. But that's interesting you say that, because I never really knew that, because that's quite interesting. Maybe they didn't like me. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if the likes of Danny Cipriani are hanging around, that might be why you're not getting any luck.
Yeah, well, Sips is really
He's a taken man.
taking the thunder from me. I mean, last season I was trying to get married, and he just goes and does it in 10 weeks. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a grandmother. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she is. It's shocking because
Yeah.
she looks like she's in her early 20s. But
Yeah,
I mean,
beautiful rig.
Yeah, great rig, great chassis. Like they're a good couple. They're a good looking couple. God forbid you might have some trouble at Inferno's again if they have a baby. If they have a son, you ain't getting laid for a while yet.
Yeah, I better actually now making me think I should probably speed up that process just in case a young Cipriani comes into Inferno's. That would be deadly.
Yeah, I think by the time you're ready to meet that woman who's 20 years younger than you, it might be too late if a mini Sips is on the scene.
Right about. Well, Chloe, it's a shame that we couldn't get you on last series because obviously we were trying to get Archie a wife in 10 weeks and it all fell apart quite dramatically. But obviously, as listeners will know, you're married to James Haskell, aka The Fridge. I hear that he slipped into your DMs to first get your attention. Can you tell us the story about how that came about and your first memories of dating? What was your first date? And did you know, honestly, much about the guy or not?
No. So he saw a video of me on, I think it was Twitter, doing like an Olympic lifting session.
I saw
and
that,
and he just decided that he wanted to, like every girl that he DM'd on Twitter, he wanted to try and have sex with me. So I got the DM and I saw the blue tick and he was like, hey, I saw that video of you lifting. I know the guys that I was lifting with. So I went back to them. I had another session with them and I said, do you know who this guy is? And they were like, yeah, it's James Haskell. He's like an England rugby player.
Yeah, legend.
And I was like, okay. Yeah, well, I didn't know. The only rugby player I knew at that time was Johnny Wilkinson, obviously. So I was like, okay, what is he? Is he a good guy? And they were like, no, absolutely not. Don't go near him. So I was like, right, cool. And then he wouldn't stop messaging me, so I blocked him. And then what happened, he ended up going to the same gym with these guys because they worked there. And he was like, guys, you need to give me her number. And they obviously didn't say no. So then he started calling me. And then when I finally agreed to meet up with him, he told me that he would make me the face of his female supplement range. But I got there and there were no supplements. It was just him and a handlebar mustache because he's a rugby player and it was November. That's the story.
This is honestly the story of my life. And guys, if anyone's listening, it just shows you persistence is the key.
It is. It really works.
I mean, what tips would you give me? Obviously, Chloe, I'm pushing on nearly 40,000 followers on Instagram. Probably known as the biggest influencer in Clapham. Obviously, I slide into quite a lot of girls' DMs, mainly just sort of topless photos of myself. What any tips for your sort of chat I should be sort of throwing in there?
Women love it when you tell them that they're all the same. Like, women are all the same. You guys are all crazy. I mean, these are like great tips. So you're sliding into DMs with your top off. That's a really good, it's pretty standard rugby quote to hit them with.
Really? Okay. Because maybe I should send them. I was thinking about just sending them like a poem or something like that, just to show my sensitive side.
Oh, you want to go like super romantic then? You don't want to have like the bantery, like cocky chat.
Well, I mean, I do send some girls songs like, I tell you, I've just messaged you. I see you've only got 800 followers. By the way, I've nearly got 40,000. I don't know if you've seen. Scroll down, you can see me in my holiday shorts.
Oh yeah, that would be. I mean, that would really get my attention, to be honest. I mean, maybe you could invite them on a night out or like a rugby social. That's what James did for me. Took me on a rugby social.
I'm writing this down.
Was that your first date, Chloe?
What about if I send them a picture of just my car keys, like my Mercedes, just a picture, and then say, "Do you want to come for a ride?" And then laughing face afterwards.
What about you topless in the Mercedes?
That's quite nice. Or what about if I just send them like a video of just me sort of shivering, just to give them sort of an idea of what they're in for?
No, I think that should be saved for the first night.
That's a nice surprise. It's actually a nice surprise to them. Yeah,
it is. I don't know that they would understand it if they couldn't feel it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Chloe, have you ever misbehaved in a JCB digger?
That's a really good question. Have I? No, I don't think, not beyond a kiss and a cuddle. No, we've definitely had a kiss and a cuddle. James used to make me sit in the back of the digger while he like just I think he was digging up dirt on like Tom Wood's, I don't know, land, and that all he would do all day was just dig up big buckets of dirt and then just dump them on the left and then go to the right and then dump it on the left. And he made me sit there all day. He promised it would be fun. It was the fucking worst day of my life.
That sounds like my ideal, like that honestly sounds like my ideal day. And it would just be me in the back, just feeding the fridge food and just talking rugby and gym.
Yeah, but you know that James doesn't really like to talk rugby. He gets quite bored about with rugby chat.
Yeah, but I've got some pretty good stories about some nights out with the Clapham Falcons guys. I think he'd really appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should get him on a night out with the Clapham Falcons guys.
Yeah, that would be the dream. I have texted him quite a few times recently, and he hasn't got back to me, but I know he's really busy with the book launch.
He's really busy with the book launch. He was at Penny Hill all day today doing press for it. So yeah, don't worry about it, babe. You just keep persisting. You know, like you said, persist. It'll work.
Yeah, take a leaf from his book. Yeah, that's right.
Chloe, we've been lucky enough to hear about Hask's stag do on the pod. Paul Dozza Jones's stag. How loose did your hen do get? Can you tell us what you did for it and who misbehaved the most?
I went to Ibiza with some of my girlfriends, and yeah, pretty standard. I was the sloppiest one there. I'm the worst drunk in the world, so it would have been a bad sign if I wasn't the drunkest girl on my own hen.
Was Judy misbehaving at all?
Judy didn't come.
Oh.
Judy actually hasn't had a drink in, oh my god, like 2 years, 2.5 years.
Well,
she's teetotal on the wagon. Yeah, so she's not allowed on a night out with me and my friend. She'll bring down the whole vibe.
Yeah, we had to get rid of a guy in our rugby club because he wasn't drinking, and I just said at the end of the day he was offering nothing on the night out.
Yeah.
In fact, he just reminded everyone about what they were doing the night before. You know, the night of. He texted round the night after saying, "Oh, guys, do you remember doing this?" I was like, "Listen, Christoph, no more. You're out the team. Your banter's rubbish."
Yeah. Do you just chuck people out if they've got like shit chat?
Yeah. And actually, he didn't actually have a very good job either. So it was honestly, I had to get rid of him.
He was just bringing down the average of the whole team.
Yeah, salary average, the banter average. Although he did have a good rig, I've got to give it to him. He has some great lats.
Oh yeah, was he making a killing then at Inferno's?
Yeah, he did actually quite well for someone who's sober. I think because some reason, I don't know, but some girls really like a nice guy, and he was just really nice and genuine. But for me, like when I'm in the club or I'm in the bar, for me it's playground tactics. You know, I'm a bit nasty, you know, to catch the attention.
Yeah, James is the same. You're very similar like that.
Yeah, I like to go up to girls and just look them in the eye and just say, "You're not getting this tonight," and just walk off.
And how do they respond when you do that?
Yeah, a lot of them are just taken back. They're completely shocked. That's the kind of reaction I'm looking for. And some are quite rude back to me, but I know they're just flirting. Some just tell me to fuck off. And I'm like, and I give them a little smile. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you want me to. And then they say, no, generally fuck off. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you later.
Maybe you just need to get the shots in, the Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger's. Actually, I'm on a new drink at the moment. Max Evans came on our podcast, and he was saying one of the best drinks for rigging is a tequila on ice with a bit of soda water and fresh lime juice. You can get that on it and still work out the next day.
Yeah, that is true. So James and I, the first time I went out, like on a night out with him, it was at a WASP social. What was that pub that was right next to their training ground? I can't remember it now. Anyway,
where were they training then?
That was in in Acton, I think.
Oceana?
No. Oh, what was it called? Damn it! It's like a WASP like institution. Anyway. So I went there and he had me drinking that all night. And that was the first night that we went home together. So it works a treat.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Write that down, Freddie.
Chloe, you attended Prince Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle. Can you tell us how that invitation came about? What was the day like in general? And who got loose at the after party? Did Hask behave himself?
Yeah, James is actually incredibly well behaved. It's quite boring, but we went how did it come about? We just got an invitation in the post, and I just remember looking at it for about 5 minutes like, holy shit, I didn't even want to go because I just was like, this is way too much pressure for me to even handle. But James and Harry obviously are like really good friends, and he was like, we've got to go. And we went, and it was exactly what you would imagine it to be. It was just absolutely fucking bonkers. And they were like ridiculous celebrities, like celebrity names that are just like higher than A-list, just everywhere. So James obviously just got his like chat on, and he just started working the room, and he was like basically flirting with Elton John for half an hour, and then would come back and was like basically flirting with Tom Hardy for half an hour, and then made a beeline for Idris Elba. And I just sat there with some of our mutual friends getting really drunk and eating wedding cake. They had the most amazing wedding cake ever. So yeah, we had very different experiences of the royal wedding, but that doesn't surprise me at all.
If only I'd been invited. I mean, that still pisses me off, actually.
I know. Why didn't he invite you?
It's because I didn't have my Instagram up on that at that time. That's why.
Yeah.
I look back on it. If I'd been prolific on Instagram at the time, I think I would have probably got an invite.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'd get on really well.
I reckon me and Haz. Yeah, definitely.
Chloe, your parents are the legendary television duo Rich and Judy. When you were growing up, due to their incredible fame, they're the biggest names on TV, you were thrust into the showbiz spotlight somewhat. How did that fame impact your life when you were growing up?
Well,
that's a really good question, Freddie. That's really journalistic.
Thank you.
You honestly, that's why you're on this podcast.
I agree.
Yeah, you bring the brains, and Archie brings the brawn, right? That's
sure.
the
yeah.
Is that the
if only
setup?
you were a woman, then we'd make the perfect couple.
It's true.
You guys would make a really good couple. Okay, so how did it affect me? I loved it when I was like little and then a teenager. Like I was a massive attention whore growing up, and I'm really close to my parents. I've always been really proud of them. So there was nothing not to love about it. And then when I hit my 20s, that all kind of changed. I stopped enjoying it. And I became like a really, really, really anxious person. And it wasn't until I found what I do now, which is the health and fitness thing, and I got like fully qualified and I started building my career, that my like anxiety and kind of, I don't know, I was not a very happy bunny. But then when I started doing what I do now, all of that changed, and I've been a very kind of relaxed, happy-go-lucky girl ever since, until I met James, and he drives me fucking up the wall. But apart from that, life is very calm, which is how I like it.
What was the best thing to be sort of the daughter of the most famous people on TV? I mean, if you can go back to one memory, one night, one meeting.
It would be like getting to meet people. Like when you're a little girl, you like obsess over, I think the same way that little boys do with like footballers or rugby players, like, but we obsess over like female musicians. That's too strong a word for what they are. Female pop stars. And I was like in love with the Spice Girls, and I was in love with Britney, and like all of that whole like Christina, Beyonce, that whole era, Shakira. And I got to meet them all. And every time I got to meet them, it was just like the best day of my life. So when I look back on it, that was the best part of it. Obviously, now that I'm a bit more grown up, the best part of it was the fact that I got to go to a good school and live in a nice house in London. But at the time, it was more the Spice Girls.
Did you ever meet Melinda Messenger?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She is hot.
She's still the woman of my dreams. She once actually re-Instagrammed one of my stories. That's really made my evening. She's the one.
Why didn't you chase her up on it?
Well, I think she's married, but that's actually never stopped me before. But actually, I'm going to get back on that. Me and Melissa, I can imagine. Now, by the way, you and Fridge you'd be invited to the wedding. Obviously, because Fridge would be best man. We'd have a hello wedding. It'd probably be in the Fort Boyage, where she did that amazing TV show. That's where we'd get married.
Yeah. I think that sounds super, super romantic.
I can just imagine her wedding dress now. It would be a little crop top, and then just a little white sort of mini skirt with an even smaller mini skirt for the after party afterwards. And everyone would be drinking tequila. It'd be incredible.
Or you could even do it like one step further, like that scene in Happy Gilmore when he gets knocked out, and she's like there with the two signs in her wedding lingerie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know Happy Gilmore. Yeah, it's actually.
Yeah.
I sometimes play that clip on my phone when I go to the loo.
Yeah, I'm not
in the
surprised.
office. Yeah.
Chloe, having had quite an exuberant and well-hydrated period of your life in your late teens and an unfortunate driving ban, what was the catalyst to trigger this new healthy lifestyle of yours and lead you to become one of the most well-known influencers in the health and well-being sector?
Influencer. What was the thing? Oh, it was my ex-boyfriend, was a bodybuilder and an actor. And he took me to the gym and he taught me how to.
Don't know if Fridge would want us talking about the ex-boyfriend.
Oh no, it's fine. We've talked about him on the podcast before. Okay. It's fine. We get the all clear from the Fridge. The Fridge actually doesn't get jealous, which is highly, highly annoying. But he's a very, I don't know what the word is. He's a very unthreatened kind of a man.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
When you're king of the jungle, you wouldn't. That's very like me and Clapham. I really feel threatened. Sorry, carry on, Chloe. Carry on. Ex-boyfriend.
Took me to the gym, taught me how to lift weights. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but like immediately I just was like, this is I'm going to keep doing this now for the rest of my life, which I did. And then I was watching him like PT people. This was fucking years ago. This is 9 years ago now. I was watching him PT people, and I had like real career jealousy. Like I wanted to become a coach. So I moved back in with my parents in London, and I got fully qualified. And then I just started like door-to-door PTing. And at the same time, I was like simultaneously like trying to build an online business. And by the time everything the ball was really rolling, everything just kind of synced up really nicely. And I was like off. And now, it's my career and I absolutely love it.
No, fair play. I remember the first time I picked up my first pair of 20s in the gym, and I never looked back. Never looked back.
No.
But
amazing that you started with 20s though. I mean, that's quite a few.
I've got fantastic genes, and I went in there and I just want to show everyone at school who was boss. I didn't bicep curl them. I was just overhead squat. But I look back on that overhead squat as one of the greatest pinnacle moments in my life.
Chloe.
But Chloe, we've had quite a lot of famous fitness people on the podcast. We've had James Smith, PT.
Burt Whistle.
What were your thoughts on James Smith, PT?
He's great. James just had him on his podcast as well. He definitely he's a rugby boy, right? Like loves a bit of ruggers. Yeah,
he's got some seriously good banter. We've also had, and look, this might take you back, so just prepare. We've had one of Clapham's biggest celebrities, Alex Marks.
Who's Alex Marks?
The Bachelor from Channel 5.
Oh, I don't watch that.
Well, he's big. He was one of our biggest guests, and he's a PT as well. And he's really, let me tell you, he doesn't queue to get into Archer Street Wine Bar in Northcote Road. That's how big he is.
Oh my God, I love that place. Okay, fine. Well, then I'll make sure that I follow him as soon as I bid you guys farewell. I'll get on there and follow him.
Yeah. Really interesting guy. Really, really interesting guy.
Chloe,
okay, fine.
You're now a triple best-selling author, runners, founders, successful pods, and have 250,000 followers on Insta. What's the next big challenge you've got in store? I read that you and the Fridge are looking to do a reality show together. How will he fit that into a schedule, especially when Archie and him are already, I think, do you have 2 or 3 shows in development?
I'm pitching quite a lot to Dave at the moment. I've got one where it's basically, Kitchen Nightmares, but it's called Business Nightmares. And what happens is me and Hass go into a business and he just plays house music on the decks and I just sort out the business.
Yeah. I think that it's riveting TV.
Yeah. He's dressed in very tight clothes. And I'm dressed in a business suit, and he just plays banging music, and he's sort of like the enforcer, and I'm like the brains behind it. I'm like, right, this salesman's got brown shoes on, get him out. That's what I pitched that today. They're coming back to me on that.
Yeah, but have you got like kind of hooks like throughout that will keep the audience interested, or is that just it?
there's a hook. One of the hooks is like halfway through. It's a segment of like 5 minutes where me and him just work out like CrossFit style, like, you know, battle ropes, then burpees, and then just like press ups. And then Max Evans comes in and he holds a plank competition.
Yeah.
That's the hook.
But I don't feel like a plank competition would be that interesting to watch because it's essentially zero movement for a period of minutes.
Have you seen Max Evans do a plank competition?
No, I have not.
Well, I would highly recommend checking out that video. Maybe ask Fridge to show you. It's it's pretty interesting the way he performs it.
I mean, I think everything that Max Evans does is super fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I will definitely be on that. I'll find that video.
He's loose.
Chloe, what's the concept for the show you guys are pitching? You and the Fridge.
Me and the Fridge. Actually, you know what? Him and our agent have written up about 5 show pitches which they are currently genuinely pitching around, and I think I'm in one of them, but I actually haven't asked what it is. I kind of don't want to know what it is.
Well, did you see that Robshaw started an OnlyFans?
I did see that. Him and Camilla, signed up to it, but I don't really know what they're using it for, because I highly doubt they're going to become kind of grade A porn stars. Yeah.
I could see it.
I mean, I could. They would. I mean, I would definitely watch it if they did.
Me too.
They're a hot couple.
Afternoon video. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You could watch it with your DeepHeat. Yeah, DeepHeat and OnlyFans.
What?
Yeah, OnlyFans. Yeah.
So OnlyFans. I wouldn't say it. And I was like, is it OnlyFans or OnlyFans?
Oh, no, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Well, Robshaw's obviously a Clapham resident, but about to move to America. When Haskell used to live with Dozra in Clapham, did you ever come up for a big night out? And what are your sort of favourite memories of getting loose in Clapham?
You know what? Actually, I did stay at their place in Clapham a few times in the very beginning, and honestly, we just got pretty fucked up behind closed doors. We would just kind of sink alcohol and just sit down and chat shit all night. And that was my introduction to Dozra, who I absolutely love.
Isn't Clapham just great?
Clapham is like, there's nowhere else that you would ever need to see in the world if you've been to Clapham.
That's what I say to everyone. I've been here nearly going on 14 years. And I've loved it. I can't imagine living anywhere else.
No, I can't imagine you living anywhere else either. It would be like a fish out of water if we tried to imagine if we tried to put you somewhere like, I don't know, Manchester. How would you handle that? Ooh.
Yeah, no, I don't think that just wouldn't go down. I wouldn't be able to understand them first and foremost. But I do imagine when I do leave Clapham, it will be a sad day. It'll be a sad day. I'm probably a national holiday for the borough.
Yeah. Do you think that they would have some kind of like street party kind of to bid you farewell, or maybe after you'd left?
About 2 years ago, I missed 2 weekends on the bounce. I came down with a quite like severe flu, and you just noticed the vibe. You know, when I was going out, I could just tell people were down. They were worried. Yeah. It was almost like the Queen was, maybe, leaving the throne. But luckily, week 3 came back. I was back on it, and everyone was just so happy. Girls were happy to see me saying, "I bet you want to get with me." And it was just a great. I think everyone was just really happy when I was back. I don't even want to think about leaving Clapham. God, it's actually.
I can imagine.
I might have to go in a minute. Go to Lou.
Chloe, when you train people, do you ever make them do an initiation, a la Clapham Falcons Rugby Club, or one of Haskel's?
No, I don't. What are some of your initiations? What at the kind of Clapham Falcons? What do you guys do?
Well, the famous one, Chloe, is the bum funnel, which I've said to Hask when we go out, he's going to have to do, which is what everyone does. I mean, there's a few. First of all, you pull your trousers down, you put a toothbrush up your bum, and you sing the national anthem. But then afterwards, you do a bum funnel. And it's my duty to lead the bum funnel. What happens is I take my trousers off, I squat over the face of the person taking the bum funnel and drop down a beer through my bum cheeks. Like the funnel into the mouth, and it's actually bloody good fun. And I've been known to do a few bum funnels, even though I've been part of the club for some years. But I'm not shy to do a bum funnel.
Maybe it just feels good.
It really does. It really does, and it tastes good. I'm not gonna lie. Once you get a bit of, once you have a dirty pint through a bum funnel, it's a lot better than taking a dirty pint from the glass. The texture, everything's different, and just the environment. You're just pent up and you're ready to go. It's like getting pumped before a rugby match. I highly, if you ever have time, I try it. I sometimes get, when I've got like mates over at home and I'm bored, then I just do a bum funnel to kick off the night.
I think it's a good icebreaker. I don't know if it would go down so well if I tried to do it. Maybe I'll give it a go and report back to you.
Yeah, do. Actually, now that's making me think. Maybe I'll just send girls a DM just saying, "Fancy a bum funnel."
Yeah. That is. I mean, everyone will be so curious that they'll have to reply and ask you what would that entail.
Freddie, write that down.
Chloe, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in front of Hask and vice versa? Archie embarrasses me the whole time, but I want to know from your point of view between you guys.
The first time I farted in front of James was in lockdown, and we've been together now 6 years, and the reason I don't fart in front of him is because I know he'll never ever 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 let it go. He will never let me live it down, which he hasn't. So that was pretty mortifying for me, but I try and keep all my really embarrassing bodily functions as far away from him as humanly possible. The most embarrassing thing, I can't say what it is because he'll be absolutely mortified.
No, honestly, we're a rated R podcast.
We had a very, I won't go into detail, but we had a very interesting sexual encounter on one of our very first times that we slept together that did not bode very well for him. But I won't tell the story.
No, we'd like a tiny bit more detail than that, Chloe.
I'll tell him the story that I'm not telling you, and then if he feels comfortable enough, next time he comes,
maybe
on,
just do it in bullet points, like start to end.
No, I'll just text Hask now and just ask it. I mean, because we're like mates.
Yeah, you should just. I think he's actually driving back from Pennyhill currently, so if you call him, you'll probably get his hands free.
I do try and call him. He never picks up. I think he's just really busy at the moment.
Busy.
He's really busy at the moment.
Chloe,
he's just busy.
We ask all our guests who come into the pod what their biggest regret and proudest achievement to date are, and you are no different, being a superstar. So please let us know your biggest regret and your proudest achievement to date.
My biggest regret is marrying James, and my proudest achievement is coming on this podcast.
Oh God, that was beautiful.
That's actually. Yeah. I've got a little tear in my eye.
I also want to know briefly what it was like when you brought back the Hask to the world's most famous TV couple. How did that play
out? So he walked through the door, and I remember my dad, his jaw just dropped because I don't think he'd ever seen anyone as big as James. So he was just in shock, and then quickly distracted because he was cooking a roast. So then just ran back into the kitchen to make sure nothing was over boiling or overcooking. And my mum was, giddy like a schoolgirl, and she whispered in my ear, "If you don't marry him, I will," which was odd and uncomfortable, but there you go.
Can I just say I love your father? I watched a video of him taking through in minute detail the secret to his gravy, and at that point I just knew he was a genius. He's sort of Keith Floyd meets someone else. He's wonderful.
He's absolutely mega. I love him. There's a video of him. I called him this morning, going viral right now on the internet, of him talking about lockdown on Talk Radio yesterday. And I called him up and I was like, "You've gone viral." And he was like, "I don't know what that means." I was like, "Oh, Dad." He's very good. I love him. He's like the best. He's the best dad in the world.
Chloe, just before we let you go, all our guests who come onto the show, we do ask them to ask the hockey boys from Putney to fuck off back to Putney, who have now breached the gap to Clapham. So if you could look down the camera and say, "My name's Chloe Madeley, could the Clapham hockey boys please fuck off to Putney?" That would be amazing.
Okay. My name is Chloe Madeley, and could the Clapham hockey boys please fuck off back to Putney?
Yeah,
Thank
fuck
you.
off, guys.
God, that was
no one wants your shit chat.
Last but not least,
hockey chat?
Pardon?
What is the hockey chat like?
Yeah,
no such thing.
So dry. I mean, half of them work in advertising. They've got skinny little chassis, don't even know their way around a kettlebell, and they drink flavored cider. I mean, fuck off, guys. Putney's for you. Clapham's first rugby boys. Don't come. They wear tiny little legs. They don't even know what a squat rack is. I mean, fuck off, guys. Yeah, they're little whippets. They say they're quick. I was like, yeah, you're quick, but until you come running into me, mate, I'll take your head off.
Yeah, you could put in like a big old tackle on one of those boys,
Yeah.
like let's do rugby, a Haskell Pocock kind of showdown would work between you and one of the hockey lads.
Yeah, and I also say I've got to, before you go, I've got to say, Chloe, it's just so lovely to speak to you, because on my desk at work I've got a little photo of you and Hask, you know, because you're my second favorite celebrity couple, just behind Tom and
Who's
Nicole.
your first? Oh yeah, God, of course. I mean, their TikTok videos in lockdown were a sight to behold.
And their workout videos, they're really good. I said to Fridge when he came on, you guys need to get on that. That's great. That's just great banter.
Oh God, please do not encourage him to do any more of this stuff.
I think there's something there. I think you and Hass doing workouts together in the same esque as Nicole and Tom. I think if that went on, you'd easily bump up to #1 celebrity couple.
Oh, well, maybe if we just do it just to get to the #1 spot in your books. Yeah, maybe we'll just do it for you.
I will just caveat by saying, if you do that, then listen, I have no responsibility with the deep heat and the lunchtime wank. Okay?
Okay, noted.
Chloe, just before you go, I'm still incredibly hopeful that Archie will find a message. He's getting on a bit now, but he said to me that he only wants to go out with a famous lady and be part of a famous couple. So I was going to ask you, just before you go, do you have any single famous lady friends who we could introduce to Archie?
Do I have any single famous lady friends? I think all my famous lady friends are taken.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, babe.
But like we said, the girl I'm with is probably only 14, 15 right now. So
right,
you've got to wait. Famous. She's got time to be famous.
So wait.
Yeah. Maybe she'll become like an Olympic hockey star.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Chloe, do you have anything in the pipeline which we can quickly tell our listeners to look out for?
Yeah, I have my 4th book is coming out on December 31st, and James and I are obviously doing couples quarantine. Oh, and I'm the new sex columnist for Fabulous magazine, so that should be interesting.
Weirdly,
I don't know what they're thinking.
I read that. You? Yeah, because it gives me insight to girls. So yeah,
you don't strike me as a Sun reader.
A Sun reader. I'm more of a Daily Mail reader. I love the Daily Mail. It's a brilliant paper. And if you want great news written in a fantastic way, just recommend the Daily Mail.
Unbiased news.
Yeah, totally unbiased, and like just really breathes positive life into humanity.
Yeah, it really
love
does.
the Mail.
And I've always wondered, the best thing about Daily Mail, I was saying this to a friend the other day, I've always wondered what Michelle McManus is doing. And the other day, there she was. She was in a store buying sweets, and I never knew that. And I think that's the best thing about the Daily Mail. They're bringing us, news that we want to know.
No, I completely agree. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating read. It's always 100% accurate, fair, balanced, and they have a great sense of humor as well.
They got my sense of humor. That's fine.
Chloe, you've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much
Chloe,
for giving up some time to come on the podcast. Hopefully we can all meet up soon. So I did actually see you in Haskell Farmhouse many months ago now, but Archie told me not to come up. So maybe
what? You've got to come up. You've got to come and say hi. We'll get on the lash together.
Oh God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we should.
Maybe I'll come.
Well, you're not.
Chloe, thank you so much. We honestly really appreciate it.
Chloe, thank you so much.